Hey everybody, this is Reza.
This is Sandy.
Welcome back to episode 44 of the Stone Cold Sober podcast.
It's good to be back. It's cold up here in New York. I don't know if it's cold where you are, but it's the lows are getting to the 30s now.
Yeah, I'm looking at the weather right now. It shows it being like 43 today, but apparently it's supposed to get up to like 70 by the end of the week. That's what my mom was telling me earlier.
Thank goodness. I like the fall though. I won't lie. It just means I sweat less. I was looking at getting a new coat for just every day.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I could wear at work, like wear to work, that was like waterproof when these sudden rainstorms hit me. And because I am just really terrible at bringing umbrellas to things, I want something that will stay somewhat dry and not get ruined.
Yeah.
And these decisions seem to be the biggest ones I'm making in my life right now. And I did a lot of research, and I found one at Ted Baker, and I went to the store yesterday, and it was so chilly. I was walking around the suit because I went to this event, and it was so chilly outside. And I walked in, and the smallest size they have on the rack was a size 2, which fits like a 36 chest, like a men's 36 chest.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing it. I'm like, this seems a little baggy. And I'm just standing in front of the mirror, like, doing like that, like over the shoulder, like this way and that way.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, is this baggy? So this guy, one of the sales rep guys, or the guy who's working at the store, he goes, "Hey, can I help you with anything?" I go, "Yeah, do you guys have anything smaller than a size 2? He goes, "Yeah, size 1, but it won't fit you." And I go, he goes, "What? Why?" I go, I just feel like, the one that you guys have on the rack right now, the size 2, is a little big on me. He goes, "Wait, what size chest are you?" And I go, "I'm a 34. He goes, "Oh, yeah, I totally have a 1 in the back. Let me go grab it." And I was like, "Okay, cool." I put it on, and it fits like a glove. It's like, it doesn't fit like a glove. It's a coat. But
Fits like a coat, but, it fit properly.
It fit very nicely.
Good.
And it looks like a tailored coat. And I wanted the coat to fall sort of like straight, like it didn't like scrunch up like some coats do.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to fall really nicely. And I found it, and I bought it, and I paid for it, and I walked out, and because it was so windy, my bag was getting blown every which way.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. That was just more of an annoyance than anything.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna test it out later when I had to go to this event. I'm gonna see if I can, like, how much clothing is necessary under this jacket to not feel like I'm burning up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
sounds good.
That's the crazy, I guess, quick update from me.
Yeah, I need to start buying some more clothes, like do another wardrobe shopping. But I'm also being I'm trying to be very careful with my money this week. I actually ate out a lot with Lena.
Good.
I think we had dinner like 4 times this week, and it wasn't like we did anything crazy fancy and stuff. It was, I think one day we went to Buffalo Wild Wings, another day we got like a pizza. So it wasn't like we were going anywhere fancy, but I don't normally eat out that much over the course of any given week.
Well, you got to treat yourself.
Yeah, well, at least I still did breakfast and lunch on my own, so that's at least a good thing.
Okay.
I don't think I ever bought lunch this week.
Well, that's good.
But yeah, man, this week was kind of an interesting one for me, and I guess it's kind of been it's been like that for the last couple of weeks, but I still. Like, I'm finally starting to settle in after all my trips in, Seattle and stuff. I'm finally getting used to things back at the lab. And as I think I've told you before on the podcast, my advisor will be moving. He's moving our lab to St. Louis. Now, the computational and bioinformaticians, the computer scientists and the bioinformaticians, we don't have to move. Now, it would be better for us in our research, especially we older students, to go with my advisor because he won't be teaching anymore. So he'll be almost 100% dedicated to his research and, grant writing and whatnot. His office would be like right next to ours. We would be able to see him pretty easily, and I think he'd be able to come over to us as well and see see what we're working on.
Right.
And in my PhD writing process, it'd be really helpful because I can kind of just informally go in and be like, hey, I'm working on this. What do you think about this or that, or and all that's achievable via email, but it's just that much better, I think, to do it over in person. Conversations start to happen and develop it in person in a way that they typically don't happen over an email. And with Lena here and especially my mom, I can't go. I can't.
You just can't do it.
Move. Yeah, I can't do it.
Not gonna be able to do it.
So I met with him last. I guess it was. I met with him last week. I can't remember if it was before or after we recorded our episode 43. But we talked a bit about my project process and everything. The meeting overall was pretty good. But one of the questions that he hit me with at some point was, give me like your general, like what's your plan? You're in general, I guess, like for the PhD. And we've talked about it before in the past, and for whatever reason, this question hit me, and I couldn't really phrase it properly into words. I think it's partially because I haven't really given it enough thought over the last 6 months when my projects have evolved, and especially with what I was working on or what I had worked on while I was in Seattle, and the progress that I made on some of the projects. And what we decided was that we'll hold off until to seriously talk about the PhD at least until Tuesday this week. So I've come up with the presentation and more of my basic plan for the PhD, and we'll talk more about it. But I have to do my PhD proposal. So the process, essentially what happens is you go in, right, for the PhD. I think you have to take 7 or 8 total formal classes. Then you do a couple of seminars here or there, and then most of your other credits just come from research, and all that ends up taking between 4 to 6 years, or maybe even 7 years. It really depends on the person and what your project is. Right now, I'm in my 5th year, but I did do a master's along the way. Now, what you do after about a year and a half is you take the preliminary exams, and that is like a 2-hour oral exam, where basically a committee of three members, which for my program does not include your advisors. It's not allowed to include your advisor. There are 3 professors from the core classes that you take over the course of the year,
Mm-hmm.
or the course of your time, the 3 major courses that you take over 3 semesters, we'll say.
Okay.
And it's a 2-hour oral exam, and basically they just sit there and ask you about your research, and they'll ask you about questions related to the classes. Just about anything's fair game, and they're typically not looking for 100% correct or 100% wrong answer. They're not. What they're trying to do, the way my advisor had phrased it, several years ago, is what they try to do, what he tries to do, is kind of map your general knowledge of a particular area. So he'll, kind of have a circle, right? And each, in various locations of the circle are different aspects of things that you should know. So whether it's bioinformatics or genetics or evolution, or if it's your research, maybe small RNAs or plants or animals, it can be anything. What they try to do is, and a lot of times they ask you questions about things that they don't even know for sure themselves, but they'll ask these questions, and they want you to be able to explain it to them, and in a way that they can understand it. And then when you finish answering the question, they might take something from your answer and say, okay, well, how can you expand upon this? And when they do this, they're kind of able to kind of map your knowledge of the area. And
Sure.
They almost push you to the point where you say, I really don't know. Sometimes they ask you questions that they obviously know the answers to. And if you struggle, they'll help you out. And the last thing you want to do in this exam is to be silent. There are 3 people that are just literally waiting for you to answer. And if you don't say anything, they're not going to say anything. So if you don't know, which a couple of times happens to me, you're up there with at a whiteboard and you're just, writing your answers along, or they want you to draw something out. They might want you to draw a graph and show how something would change with over time.
Mm-hmm.
And you can explain yourself of why you feel a certain way. And if you really don't have any clue where to start, you can say, well, I remember discussing this thing in class, and they might nod or they might kind of shake their head. I was using their body languages a lot to gauge my answers if I thought I was, if I didn't know and I thought I knew.
Okay.
And overall, I passed. Everybody else in the program has passed. There are 3 categories. There's a pass, a conditional pass, and a fail. A pass, you finish up and you're able to just continue on your PhD. Now, a conditional pass, which some people have gotten, they make you write. Well, they can do anything. They can sometimes say, okay, well, you did well, but you struggled in this particular area, and we want you to prove that you know enough in this area to continue on the PhD. So they might have you write like a 10-page research paper on something. They may, I don't know if they would ever do this, but they might be able to come back together and say, do another oral exam for like 30 minutes on just that topic.
Wow.
No, I'm just making that up, but they can really do whatever they want. They might make you retake a course or take a different course in order to expand upon your knowledge in that area. So they can be creative with that. And the last option is fail. And essentially, if you fail, you're kind of done. You don't have what it takes from what they've seen in this exam to continue on your PhD.
What are the numbers on people failing every year? Is it a lot?
In my program, no one's ever failed. We've done it 3 times now, and no one's ever failed. I think the first year, 3 people took it. They all passed. The year I took it, which was the following, I think 7 of us took it. I don't know how many people passed and got conditionals because no one's required. Like, they don't post the results anywhere. You only hear informally from people whether they got a conditional or not. And so I didn't hear everyone's grade overall. But
and I'm sure if somebody did get a conditional, they're not going around saying it like, "Oh my God, exactly. I got a conditional." It's like, "Oh, I got a conditional."
And there are people that I'm much cooler with that I know better, and they would tell me, but I don't, I'm not putting their business out there. So if I talk to somebody, I'll just be like, oh yeah, they passed. They're good to go, something like that.
Right. You're not trying to blow up anyone's spot.
Exactly. It's their business, not my business. Whether they want anybody else to know, it's up to them.
Right.
Sure. And it's not, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Once you finish it up, it's that's kind of
it.
That's passed. Yeah, that's it. So once you finish that, you work, say, for about another year or two, about a year, and you give your PhD proposal. So you've done a lot of research over the course of your first few years. And once you finish that up, then you have enough material. You should have enough material to say, okay, well, this is what I want to work on for my PhD project. I've worked on these couple of projects, and you're able to bring these projects together. Not all of them come together so neatly, but you can put them together and you could say, okay, well, this is what I've worked on. This is what I've proved over the time that I've been here. And with what I've done so far, as well as the other research from, however many labs, that are out there and the papers that you've read, you say, well, I believe it's possible to do this. It's something that no one's ever done before, or something somebody may have done before, but it can be improved upon, dramatically. And you present that in about an hour-long presentation, and you write up a huge paper, whether it could be between like 20 and 100 pages,
Right.
So there's no page limit, but it basically just has to encapsulate everything that you plan to do and explain it in a manner that's sufficient. And so that is where I'm at right now. And some people do this back in their 3rd year. Some people do it in their 4th year. There's no real specification as to when it has to be done.
Now, what year are you in?
I am in my 5th year. And part of the reason why I'm a bit behind in terms of the formal completion of certain things like this is because I did a master's thesis. And you can't be a master's student and a PhD student at the same time. So when I finished my master's, I was then eligible to complete the prelim exam. And so I did my prelim exam in the 3rd year, although the 3 people that took it in the 2nd year, we were all started at the same time in the PhD program, at least.
So you're technically not even behind because you got another degree.
I'm not behind at all. It's just the formal completion of these things. I can still finish theoretically ahead of anybody else.
Well, not only that, but you have a master's that nobody else has.
Right.
Even though you're going for the PhD, and a PhD will be more helpful, it's just the fact that you have just an additional degree.
Yeah, like, if, God forbid, it's something, for whatever reason I need to quit, I need to stop, or if I decide that I wanted to quit, which is kind of the reason that I got in the first place. It's, well, I don't know for sure if this is what I want to do. And I did the master's with the intention of actually transferring to a different university to complete a PhD. And I wanted to work with human data, and I kind of ended up, abandoning that, at least for now. What I can do, if I decided to leave, though, I at least have a degree, and I have something that says, I at least have some qualifications and some training in this particular field, and I'm hireable with a master's, whereas other people might not be.
Right.
So what I have to do now with my advisor leaving, kind of this long roundabout way of saying it, is I essentially need to do my proposal. And I've known that I've needed to do it. And I was actually intending on doing it this winter, but with him leaving, at least, him leaving his 100% full-time position here, I want to get the proposal done before he leaves. And he's actually pushing some of his younger students to do the same thing, even though they may not be as far along in their PhD as I am. And it would just be beneficial for them to finish it up. That way they can just focus on their research, and then they can write, and then they can just propose, they can do they can defend their dissertation. So that's kind of where I am right now. I need to get that done. I actually have a lot of the data, and I don't think I'm too intimidated by this, but with I proposed to Elena, and in my mind, I was like, oh, I'll propose to her. I think it's a great place to do it, and I really want to do it in England, and I don't know for certain that I'll be able to make it there in time, or at least I don't know when the next time I'll be able to go with her to England. So I thought it was a great time to do it then, and there's no pressure to get married immediately. But now that she has the ring, she just she's excited and she really wants to get married as soon as possible. So when I say, oh, maybe a year and a half to 2 years, I know it bothers her and she's not happy about it. So
Okay.
now she wants me to to finish my PhD, to graduate, and I'm just feeling more pressure from all fronts overall now. It's like, I know that I need to get done. I want to get done.
Right. It's not like you don't want to get it done.
Right. It's just now it's like, oh, you better finish ASAP because I'm not waiting 2 or 3 years or whatever it is. Like she keeps joking about how she's not getting married for another 10 years. I'm like, I don't know why you keep saying that. I don't know. There's literally no indication that would ever happen. Just because I say that it needs to be posted, it needs to just be held off for a bit now. Like, I don't want to say I regret doing it immediately. Like, or I don't want to say I regret proposing when I did, but it's just it's just added stress. It's
It
added stress
absolutely
that I don't really want to deal with right now.
Okay. It makes sense. I mean, you're worried about trying to complete this massive ordeal that you started out with years and years ago.
Yeah.
And you know that in your mind that there was a plan in place, but to hear, even just the jokes themselves,
Right.
it can be a bit much after a long day.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just working on that. I think this with what I've started to do is actually put together so I started using OneNote. My advisor had actually suggested it as a potential. Remember when we talked about the case of the of Olivier Voynet, the famous researcher who was caught
Doctoring stuff.
Yeah, doctoring images that were used in publications dating as far back as like 20 some years ago, whatever it is, 10 to 20 years.
Yeah.
When we talked about that, we were talking in my lab. We were talking about the importance of your journals, and he, when it comes to the biologists, the wet lab people, they have to document everything they do in these notebooks, and these notebooks are lab property. They're actually university property. So when you graduate, those notebooks stay behind. You don't keep them, and you'll have to write in them with pen, and you have to do a strike through if you've changed something, so people can at least read to see what you were thinking if you did something, and it just everything has to be documented. When it comes to the computational people, we don't really have to do that. There's no guidelines for what we have to do. And my advisor had thought of OneNote, because I think the university gets a free subscription or whatever it is, licenses for OneNote. And he suggested that maybe we use OneNote as the computational folks, and we can share it with him if he ever wants to see something that we're working on. He can check it out. And I believe OneNote doesn't. It's almost like a version control. Things that even if you delete them, they're still attainable. You can still find them. You can undo your deletes. And the center where he's moving to in St. Louis, they actually give Surface tablets or Surface computers, whatever you want to call them, to all their employees. And they use OneNote. So they're actually trying to go paperless. So all the biologists, all the wet lab folks will actually be using OneNote for their note taking, but it would also be nice for the computational people to be using it as well. That way we just have one centralized system.
That makes sense.
in my notebook, I started to kind of plan out what I needed to write what I need to be writing in my proposal. So aside from what I'll be presenting to my advisor, which is kind of like a general overview, I really need to plan exactly what it is that I want to write. And because I have the master's finished, it makes it a lot easier for me. Like, I know the process. I know how, I know the way I need to write things. I know what needs to be included to make things full.
Yep.
Like when you write about these complicated scientific things, and especially in bioinformatics, there are two angles that you really need to tackle. There's the biology, but then there's also the computers. And so I'm making notes of everything that I can to explain specifically how it is that I'll be going about my project, what it is that I've worked on in the past. I already have a lot written up in my master's thesis, which I can actually cite, and I can actually reuse some images or at least some of the text, maybe not directly, but I at least have that framework, which makes it so much easier for me.
Oh, I bet.
What's actually funny about the proposal, when I left for Europe, right? I came back from Seattle. I was here for about a week and a half, and then I went to England with Lena. And there's a guy in my lab, and we came in at the exact same time, maybe about a week. I may have joined the lab about a week before he joined. And we've always been on the same page for the most part. We worked on a few different projects together, have a couple collaborations.
Sure.
And I came back and we were talking. He was saying how he needs to get his proposal done, but he has no idea what his project is. Like, we had talked 6 months ago, 9 months ago, whenever it was, when I came up with the idea for my project and exactly what it is that I wanted to do. Because I've had this idea in my head for a long time. I have a lot of the work done and I have enough of it done. It's just to be able to take the step away from my research and actually write the proposal. That's the only reason why I haven't done it yet. He was concerned because he was saying how he didn't have a project. I'm like, well, you've worked on tons of things that can really be woven together very well. And you're working on a major project right now that you can also throw in there. And he's like, yeah, I guess so. We've had these conversations over time. And I came back from England, and he comes over to my desk. He's like, yeah, I proposed my thesis. I'm like, wait, you proposed your thesis? What? 2 weeks ago, you weren't working on that. He said that he may have been planning it for a bit beforehand, but he did the entire thing in about a month.
Wow.
He woke up one day.
That doesn't seem like a lot of time.
I know. I think even some of his advisors were hesitant for him to do it so quickly, because it was like he went from not even really thinking about it, or maybe barely discussing it with them, at least as far as I know, to all of a sudden saying, okay, this is my idea. I'm putting it all together. I'm writing everything up in about a week or two, creating my presentation. I'm going to defend it. The proposal is typically supposed to be done in public, but he did it in private. But then again, my master's defense was supposed to be in public, and I did it in private because of scheduling issues.
That just seems like a lot of coffee. That project seemed like, and that timetable seemed like he was subsisting on nothing but coffee and cigarettes.
Yeah, right.
The winning formula for any good idea.
I'm actually excited to write it. Aside from all the stress that's involved with everything that's going on, I'm excited to write it because once I get it written down, it's almost like my project plan. Now, things evolve and change over time as you work, but being able to write it down and say, okay, this is the connection between A and B, which you may have not seen in the past, but this is the connection that exists there. And once you see it in writing and you're able to justify it, it really makes sense. And you know exactly what the next steps are to get to point C. It just makes it a lot easier to have that plan written out in front of you. And as I work on that OneNote document, I can really start to see the puzzles fit together very well, the pieces.
You are a puzzle man.
I am a puzzle man. You're right. So although I haven't really finished up a puzzle in a bit, I still have the same one sitting underneath my desk, and I did take apart the one that I was working on in Seattle that I barely worked on. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. These past couple of weeks, it's just been, I guess, getting back into the mode, and it's not just pressure from me anymore. It's pressure from external sources, and that's really I'm not used to that very much. I'm sure you are, being in the professional world, where you have certain expectations. And I mean, I do have expectations from my boss and from other members in my lab, but maybe it's the external pressures from my family and from my fiance, get done. You got to get married. Got to move into a house. Got to start a family. Got to do this and that. It's just all that over my head. It's like, these are things that I've already known that I wanted to work on. And I wanted to do myself. And when I have other people looking to me as well, it's an interesting thing to deal with. But
I think that the sense of outside pressures can be really effective only because there's someone else that is looking to see what your progress is.
right.
And for me personally, that helps because sometimes if the drive isn't there, then the work doesn't get done. I'm not saying this
Yeah.
is for you.
No, I completely agree with you.
And for me, it can help when someone else is interested in the progress that's being made.
Yeah, I agree with you. Somebody else, like it's gonna almost seem naggy at times, but I think at the end when it's all done, I'll appreciate it. It'll just that added drive, that added bit of, someone's depending on me. Someone. I don't want to be the reason why someone's holding on. Is kind of stuck in their life. While they're on hold, and
Well, I don't think anyone's on hold. That's
well. What I'm saying, like, for Lena, she wants to get married, she wants to do this or that,
and
it's,
you're gonna do
I'm
all those things and more.
Oh, we will. It's just,
Hey, buddy, relax. All right, relax, relax. But it's. I think it's just sort of now realizing that you guys are operating as a unit.
yeah, that's the big thing. And on top, like in terms of the wedding planning too, you and I talked about this a little bit as well. She's really excited about a destination wedding. For years, she's wanted to get married in Jamaica since before we were together.
Isn't that funny? How
Yeah,
the wedding was planned.
the wedding was planned.
What do you mean
in
the
her
wedding was
eyes.
planned? Oh, I didn't need you.
I wasn't there.
You're a role player. You play the role of the groom this weekend. Oh, okay. Okay. Is there a craft
exactly
service
it.
table? Nah, dude. Don't worry about it. You don't get to eat. Oh, okay.
That's exactly it. Like it's the wedding was planned with the idea of me, not necessarily me being that person.
How do you feel being objectified that way? Does it hurt?
No. It's I'm not sold on a destination wedding, and from the people that I've talked to, family members and close friends, people say they'll go, but they don't like the idea of it being a destination wedding. It's not even that it's Jamaica, it's just that it's a destination wedding. With a destination wedding, there are definitely pros and cons to it. The pros are, if you need a smaller wedding, it's unlikely that everyone will come. But if you're almost obligated to invite those people, I say, well, if you don't want them to come, then don't invite them, right?
I think,
but I guess it's not as simple as that.
Right. The weddings are so political.
Yeah.
So, your aunt that you've never seen before or haven't spoken to in years will demand the invitation, even though either neither of you want to be there or neither of you want her to be there, but it's just, I guess, it's almost like kissing the ring, right? Like, right. Is this my wedding? Yeah, but do I have any control over who's going to be there? No.
Right. There's it would be great for some people because it's like a vacation. It's like, well, I have.
That's how I'm seeing it.
I want to travel anyway.
I'll travel.
It's a place that I've never been, and shoot, it's a great vacation spot. So shoot, yeah, I'm completely down with that. But not everyone would be excited about a vacation in Jamaica. And when you do it there, and I shouldn't just say Jamaica, I should just say anywhere. When you do it there, it's a lot of money to ask on the people that almost have to be there. Your immediate family. They're not like none of my immediate family is not going to go for that reason, at least. Unless Majub has something going on with school or Sarah has something going on with school, they're going to come.
They'll still be there.
And they'll pay for it. It's just super expensive, and it's possible that they might not be interested in that. My family in general, we never really did vacations to tropical spots and things like that. So I know my parents aren't going to enjoy it as much as other people would enjoy it. Like they'll be in Jamaica and they're not going to do most of the things that anybody else would do. Like they're not going to go lay out on the beach or go swimming or do this and that. So it becomes very difficult, and not everyone's ever going to be happy. And the problem is that she has her mind set on this and she really wants it, and I still am not sold on it for a number of reasons.
Okay.
But I haven't looked into it, enough to say for certain, this is not what I want to do. Like I'm not going to say that. My mind can easily be changed if I look into things myself, where she presents to me some information.
You just gotta take a look at the numbers.
Gotta look at the numbers. Show me the numbers.
Yeah, I don't think because you haven't looked at the numbers yet.
Yeah, and I think that bothers her too, though. Because we should at least have something in mind. I don't want to say that it has to happen immediately, but I should at least look into something to know what's possible and what's not possible.
Right. Do you see yourself as you guys move forward with the planning as somebody who's going to be very hands-on or not as hands-on?
I think she'll be a lot more hands-on than I will. Especially if we're planning it while I'm working on my PhD. I think she'll be doing a lot more of the planning than I will, and I'll just kind of have to go with the flow.
Okay.
I've always been like, I don't like being the center of attention of things for the most part.
Oh, you're gonna hate your wedding day.
I know, dude, like Sandy. I would be completely fine doing a small service for like 10 people at my house or at like a small venue.
Yeah, you're the worst.
I don't need anything. I
think I'm gonna need some space on the dance floor so I can whip and then nay. Okay. Yeah, you said it wasn't gonna be played at the wedding.
You can make a request.
It's
you
going
can make
in.
A request.
It's happening.
You make a request with the DJ.
It's going down. That's funny. I think just taking a look at what's possible, maybe it'll surprise you. I don't know. I don't know what the numbers are.
No, that's the thing. It could surprise me. It could very much so surprise me. I'm worried about. I was going to say a number, but I don't know how many there are. I'm just going to start listing the major concerns that I have. One of the biggest ones is the actual planning of it. At a destination so far away, it's impossible to go there multiple times. We might be able to make one trip to check out the venues and figure out where it is that we want it to be, and that's it. At that point, we're completely dependent on other people, on third parties at the venues or whatever it's going to be to make the plans and to set everything up and make it the way that we want. And the last thing I want is to get down there and for everything to be wrong, or for major things to be wrong or messed up or not even set up properly or not set up at all. That's one of my biggest concerns. And when I say I don't want a destination wedding, she's like, I don't want to get married in Pennsylvania. I'm like, it doesn't have to be in Pennsylvania. It doesn't have to be in Delaware. It can be somewhere else. But like, whether it's drivable or a short flight in America, it just ends up being a lot cheaper and more feasible for us to do the planning and be involved on that front. But then there's another major concern is also the what we're asking of the guests, because I know like you'd be excited to go. It's a vacation, but it's a wedding too.
Right. And I love you, so I'm gonna be excited to celebrate.
Yeah, you're gonna come celebrate with us, and on top of that, you get a little vacation while you're at it too. You're gonna have to fly out to wherever it's gonna be anyway. So if it's in Jamaica, well, shoot, you get it, not a free trip, but you get a.
Yeah, you paying for this trip? Guys, Reza's paying for this trip.
You get the added benefit of having it in Jamaica too, so you get to explore there and check things out and just see places that you haven't been to.
The first 5 listeners who comment below.
I ain't paying for anybody's wedding. I'm not paying for anybody's tickets other than my own.
Oh, no?
No.
Oh, we're not doing this? Okay. I'm sorry. Can you imagine? That'd be funny.
No, I can't. I don't got that kind of money.
Yeah. Well, you don't know.
I'll be saving up for a minute.
I don't think you should tell people your financial situation.
I don't mean like a literal minute. I mean like, a good year or so.
I don't think it's smart that you're telling people your financial situation. You should have just fronted with me.
let them make their own assumptions.
Yeah. Wow, it's crazy the kind of, I guess, decisions and conversations that you're having right now. All very exciting conversations, just to me very foreign.
Yeah.
what happened over the week was I got a call from one of my really really close friends from back home, and we haven't talked in a while.
Yeah.
And so I thought something was serious. I thought something had happened.
Okay.
It's like for me when I get a call from my folks out of the blue, like an
Yeah.
not scheduled, but just a surprise phone call. I'm like, oh Jesus, what has happened? I always assume the worst, and it's terrible, but that's just where my mind goes.
Yeah.
So I get a call, and I want to say, I am in a meeting at like 10 o'clock, and I hear my phone buzzing,
Mm-hmm.
and I see her name, and I go, okay, I gotta take this because there's no reason she's calling me on a weekday when like obviously we're all working
Right.
unless it's serious. So I pick up the phone and goes, hey, what's going on? And she goes, hey, you know that thing that you said was always gonna happen that I never thought was gonna happen? And I was like, I literally said, bitch, did you get engaged?
You literally said that.
I literally said, bitch, did you get engaged? And she
Wow.
goes, yeah, I got engaged last night. I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited for you. So she told me how she got engaged. And, as it's like that scene in the movie where somebody like shares that really good news and like the guy's eyes just like glazes over because he's like looking into the future and he's like totally like stop paying attention. For a second, for like a split second, I go, okay. So my best guy friend from home, you're engaged.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my best girlfriend from home, she's also engaged. And then, so for a split second, I go, what am I doing? Am I not doing, like, should I be focusing more on that? Am I focusing too much on this supposed career that I'm trying to get going? And so I mean, I even talked to you about this during the
Right.
week. I was like, it just seems like whenever these things, because this type of news is going to be happening more frequently than not for the next like half decade, right?
Yeah, it's been going on a lot nowadays, and it's only going to become more frequent, I think.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking to myself, am I focusing on the wrong things? And at dinner for a good friend's birthday, we were discussing this because I brought this up, and I said, am I just focusing on the wrong things? Because a lot of people uh, at that dinner were one was engaged and one was in a very serious relationship, and I go, look at all these well-adjusted people around me. Everyone's in New York and making moves, and should I be focusing more on that? And the table sort of said, no, you don't have to. This is New York. As a guy in New York, you have easily another 10 years you can go. And guys can always go younger. Not to sound creepy in any way, but with girls, they're saying the whole, like, clock's ticking. And if you want to have kids, you sort of have to be mindful of all that.
Right.
And I go, well, I guess you're right. But, I'm also not, I didn't, I didn't set out to be like, oh my God, I can't wait to score this like really young chick. So when they say that, it's like, I don't know if that's me in a sense,
Yeah.
but then again, we're having this conversation. I have no idea what to do, so I guess I'm open to anything and everything. Um, but I think I got out of it, that sort of rut. But every time this type of news starts to get posted on Facebook, it's like it's the almost immediate reaction of, oh well, first of all, congratulations. Um,
Yeah.
but then should I like another one not off the board, but another one who seems like they have their shit together.
I hear you.
So, live and let live, I guess.
It's, well, it's almost like trade-offs, right? And like you only have so many hours in a day. You only have so much time, and I guess the weird thing when it comes to relationships is that it's really hard to find the person that's for you, or at least, well, I guess we'll just say the person that you think is for you, because whoever knows. Um, like if you're like for me, I was never actively looking for my future wife. Like when Lane and I first went out, I texted her just to see how she was doing, and then from that it ended up being a date, and we went out a few more times, and that was that.
Right.
The last thing you want to do is like rush anything, which I don't think you've been doing at all. I know you've been doing some dating. You've been talking to people, whether it's over some dating apps or just people that you meet in general.
Yeah. You yelling at me because the match just started and I'm still on Tinder. Sandy! What? We're going! Oh. Wait, hold on. 2 more swipes. Oh.
It's just like you can only do the best that you can do, and it's I think like with work, I feel like with work that's something that you have so much more control over. But finding the right person that you wanna be committed to, that you think you can marry, that is something that's dependent on a lot of luck and luck, not just like for finding the person, but you both have to be in the right state of mind. You have to both be in the right place.
Oh yeah.
At that time, because you can find the perfect person, but neither of you can be ready at that moment.
Sure. I think that's a great point. I think that I've definitely been with people who seem like they were everything checks out, but either different places in our lives or looking for different things in our lives.
Right.
And you're right. It's more. There's more variables than just are you seeing anyone? It's
Right.
like, are you seeing anyone, and what are your goals? What are you looking to fulfill?
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. But yeah, I just had to share that with you. I think it's something where it's obviously I'm not like in dire straits right now.
Yeah.
I still like to think that I'm really young, but there's definitely that thought of I think it'd be nice to wake up to the same person every day
Yeah.
if we're gonna get sappy about it. But
No, I hear you, man. What's funny is that even when I started grad school and I started to see my friends that were making money and like working careers, and as I see people getting promotions, I still feel like I am behind in a professional sense. I know that when I finish my degree, I'll have a PhD. I'll be eligible to get a job that maybe I wouldn't have been at this point in my life, but maybe who knows? Had I gotten a job immediately, maybe I would have
Right.
I'd be in a position that's much further along than where I will be when I finish my PhD. But I guess just it's just, I feel like when you always look at the other side, there are always going to be so many things that you're going to maybe not be jealous about, but you're going to see and you're like, man, I wish I could do that right now too.
yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it's sort of the balance between looking at what you have and what other people have.
Yeah.
And I guess this is a perfect example of sort of losing sight of the stuff that I've been able to accomplish and purely focus on what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
And just realizing that, hey, it'll happen. It doesn't have to happen right now. Focus on what you're doing. It's not any less than what anyone else is doing.
Right.
I just,
Right.
yeah, I guess it's that selfish part of me that it's like one of those, like, want your cake and eat it. I don't know if this is the right saying for that, but just wanting everything.
Yeah.
And just realizing that some things aren't just going to come to you because you clock in and out every day.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, but great news for my friend who got engaged. Because it's going to be an Indian wedding. I was telling her, she goes, we'll be going to India. Do you want me to pick you up anything? Not going to India, but like I think for family.
Is the wedding going to be in India?
I don't know if the wedding will be in India. I'm sure.
Didn't you tell me that you're never going to go to India ever again?
Yeah. Oh my God. But if it's in a different part of India, maybe I'll go. I mean,
how long is your visa?
I'll have to get a new one. And
do you?
And I'm pretty sure that just saying that out loud makes me want to hurl, because that process was the most bogus.
Wasn't it supposed to be for 10 years and they screwed you over and they gave it to you for like 1 year, something
Yeah.
like that?
And this, like, people riot outside of the visa office because of how incompetent they are.
Wow.
Like, when people are rioting over your incompetence,
Wow.
that's scary incompetent, you know?
Yeah. Our
But
Brazilian one's eligible is valid for 10 years, so
you want to go again?
we should go again at some point.
Yeah, it was fun.
I ain't going anytime soon, but
So she said that she's going to India
yeah.
to either just see family or, let everyone know, hey, I'm engaged. What's good? And she said, do you want me to pick you up anything? And I go, yeah, I would love for you to pick me up like it's what's called a kurta, Kurta. It's like what men wear, like traditional Indian dress. And there's a lot of ones for weddings.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I would totally love, like, I don't think I'm going to be able to wear a suit to this one.
Yeah, yeah.
But if it's a banging Indian traditional dress thing, I was like, yeah, we got to talk about color schemes. And, like, I get so excited wearing things to weddings. I was wondering, would it be too much to ask for a black tie event for my wedding? Make it black tie.
I don't think so.
I think that would be fun and classy. I think
Yeah.
it depends on, obviously, who I'm with. I keep making these executive decisions like a girl does, without anyone. But yeah, whatever. Well, she'll be fine with it. Well, where is she? Somewhere out there.
Somewhere out there.
Somewhere out there. You ain't got to worry about her. You're talking to me right now. But yeah, I think because somebody I saw on Facebook got married last night, and they had it as a black tie affair. And
Yeah.
it just seems super classy, which obviously a black tie event is. And I'm just wondering, like, that would be I think at least a lot of my friends up here would appreciate something like that.
Yeah.
Definitely open bar because I'm not a monster.
I'm sorry, Sandy. Jeez.
I know it's like so much more expensive, but people got to drink. People don't want to be sitting through these speeches sober. But yeah, so I was just thinking, like, oh, it'd be really cool if we black tied it. Yeah. I yesterday, the movie, hard segue. The movie The Beast of No Nation came out on Netflix.
Oh yes, I did see. I heard about that.
And I watched it last night, and that is some heavy shit.
Really?
It is. So Idris Elba plays this sort of child, like, rebel soldier. That's the hip hop group, Child Rebel Soldier. Whatever happened to them? Nope. Stay on topic. He plays like this leader of this armed militia group in Africa.
Uh-huh.
And he does such a phenomenal job of playing like this Messiah-esque leader.
Yeah.
I really hope he gets some award talk with regards to this role. It's so good, and it just makes me excited for when he becomes Bond.
Is he actually going to become Bond?
He better.
Could you say when? And I remember hearing the rumors that he might become Bond.
I mean,
But I also I heard that Daniel Craig does not have any interest in being, or supposedly doesn't have any more interest in being Bond.
Well, insiders have been telling me, Reza, that I think Daniel Craig's been doing it going on 10 years now. How crazy is that?
That's wild. I didn't realize it's been that long.
Yeah, you're old, dude. We're all old.
Yeah.
And
still love that opening scene from Casino Royale.
Oh, the black and white?
One of my No. The parkour.
Oh yeah, that's a great scene.
Yeah.
So I know that Idris Elba is definitely one of the leading candidates to become the next Bond. I think a black Bond would be so dope. I just think he's one of the most handsome men on the planet right now, and he's got an accent to fit the role perfectly. Because obviously an American will never be Bond.
Yeah.
But we're not looking for American Bonds. You know, we have Tom
We got
Cruise.
Jason
We
Bourne,
got
dude. We
Jason
got
Bourne. We got
Jason
Tom
Bourne.
Cruise. Mission Impossible. I mean, we got it. We
Oh
don't
yeah.
need your bullshit.
Oh, I need to see Ghost Protocol. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, me too.
I got a few movies in my Amazon wish list that I need to watch. Um, I love that I can just rent a movie, watch it in HD for like $4 or $5, and just like chill in, watch that movie. But I haven't done it in a while. I actually thought about doing it a lot in Seattle,
Hmm.
and what I ended up thinking was like there were just certain movies that I'm like, you know what, I need to watch that on a big TV, and I didn't have anything suitable to watch it on while I was there.
We also didn't have
So
a
I'm like, oh, I'll
suitable
wait to
internet
come home.
connection.
You're right about that too. I didn't have a suitable internet connection. I've been waiting to watch Interstellar, and I was actually thinking about. I was gonna watch it on Friday. I ended up hanging out at Elena's place, um, but if I was planning on watching Interstellar because that's a long movie, right?
Yeah, it's
And
close
from
to
what
3 hours.
yeah, and what you told me was that movie you were like you have to watch that in 3D, and I never saw it in theaters, but I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna make sure that I watch it at least on a decently large TV,
With good
and
sound.
yeah, with good sound. That's the important thing. I think sound is such an important thing when it comes to movies.
And the sound design in that movie is actually very. It was very designed in a very particular way. I don't want to
Yeah.
give it away. Spoiler alert. Just kidding. I don't want to give it away because you haven't seen it yet, but there was a
Uh-huh.
very conscious decision to use some of the music pieces that, or I guess instruments is not giving it away, but I'm just gonna stop talking. It's just really important to watch that movie.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Yeah,
check
I
it
think you'll
out.
really like it.
Yeah. All right. Well. Oh, actually, I need to ask you, what are you watching these days? And more specifically, have you watched the first episode of Walking Dead? Because I haven't, and is it good?
So I watched the first episode of The Walking Dead, and they need to show this one character from the comic books like this season, because I've been saying that for 2 seasons now, and I'm really starting to lose my fucking patience.
I was gonna say his name,
Don't,
but I realized
no,
that
no,
it's a spoiler for other
massive
people too. But
spoiler.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
And what I mean, wasn't it teased all of last season?
yeah.
And
I thought it was like confirmed that the man
yeah,
had
me
been
too.
cast, and it was ready to go, and
Me
then we're
too.
just like, it was just like such a tease, like we like it.
I mean, we're only one episode in, right? It's still possible, or no? It seem highly unlikely
I
at this point.
think I hope the end of this, like, in order for me to continue watching the show, it has to come out at the end of this season that we are interacting with this new plot device, you know?
Yeah.
Because that new plot device was the best thing I'd ever read in the comic. That storyline is so intense and so amazing that I don't
Yeah.
understand why we haven't rushed towards that already. And maybe because Robert Kirkman had, I think he finished it like a month or two ago.
Hmm.
But I mean, we've seen what happens in this world with like awesome, when there's awesome writing, the show can be great. When we're stuck on a farm for a season and it's just like, it's like farm chores zombie edition.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't do this. And we've been staying with the show for years now. But there's only so many of the same questions or outbursts from Rick that I can stomach before I say, you know what, no mas.
Yeah. I saw a thing on Facebook the other day that was like it was just like a thing of Rick, and it's like I just wanted to, like, I don't see what the problem is. I just wanted to take this woman, kill her husband, and sleep with her, and then it's like a picture of Shane. It's like, isn't that ironic or something
Right.
like that?
Right. It's just, I mean, The Walking Dead was never about the zombies, right? It's the
Hmm.
zombies are always there. Like how numb are we when they shoot these scenes and they're talking and you see like walkers in the background just like stumbling around. Like first season you're like, oh my god, zombie, zombie, zombie. Now you're like,
Right.
oh Jesus, more of these things. Like we just cleared this area. So
Right.
I can, like, it was never about the zombies. It was sort of about how humans react in the face of this ridiculous apocalypse.
Yeah.
But you gotta You gotta give me more, man.
I was wondering how long the show's gonna go on for.
Oh, this episode's 90 minutes too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
That'll be commitment. Have you watched Fear the Walking Dead? Because I meant to watch that, and I just haven't gotten into it at all. I haven't watched.
Nah, I DVR it for a friend, and I just put it in my Dropbox. I tried watching the first episode, and I'll watch like a few minutes here and there, but it's just not the same. It's just not the same, man. Ain't the same.
There are a lot of shows that I'm really behind on, or that I really want to watch, and I just haven't done it. I never watched past like episode 3 or 4 of Better Call Saul, for example.
Oh, that's too bad.
I know. It's not that I didn't like it. I thought it was interesting enough, but
life got in the way.
Yeah, I guess life got in the way a bit. Maybe there are just a lot of other shows that are on that are really good too.
Yeah.
And maybe it's even partially because like how accessible everything is for me to watch them online. If I miss an episode live, I'm just like, you know what? It's all right. I'll catch it later.
Yeah.
I'll catch it soon enough. I'll find it online somewhere. And before I know it, I'm like 6-7 episodes behind. I'm like, you know what? Like I don't even have any interest anymore.
Yeah.
But and we talked about this a bit in the past too when it comes to hour-long TV shows versus half-hour-long TV shows. The half-hour-long shows are like really. I can really stay up to date. I can stay up with those shows. I watched Last Man on Earth. That's a half-hour show.
That's a great show.
It's a really fun show.
It's a funny show.
Yeah. I actually miss this past week's episode, but I will be watching that one very soon. Yeah, it's a really fun show.
Yeah. Hey, look, I gotta run.
Yeah, it's getting late.
Yeah. But everyone, thanks so much for listening. I'm Sandy.
Yeah. I'm Reza.
Stay warm. We'll talk to you next week.